What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JT, and we are back to the Crypto Den. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Okay, today we're going to talk about a very simple, but obviously, based on my Google results, which I'll show you, a very confusing or overwhelming topic, which would be how to store crypto. And honestly, if you just Google that, um, it's crazy. I did not know that they had 30 something options to do that. The reality is there's only a few that really matter, and it all depends on who you are as a person. So this is not financial advice. This is just me explaining how to store crypto based on where you are at in your life. It's just information. Make your own decisions. You are adults. For those who do not know, my name is Jake Tullis. I also go by JT, and I run a digital asset hedge fund called Bleeding Edge Capital. We are a discretionarily long research based hedge fund, and this channel is where I put my fund out there, put me as the fund manager out there, and let my investors know what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, and give them visibility into where I am putting their monies. And also, if you guys get any value out of this stuff, more the merrier. I genuinely believe in, competitions for losers. So we all win together, baby. With that being said, the few things you need to understand about crypto is tokens are basically files, coins, whatever, and they have very unique things about them where they can only be stored in these folders called wallets. And it's the same thing as you storing a Word document into a folder on your hard drive, except the hard drive is block space on a blockchain and the file is a token. And the token has a bunch of logic attached to it, and it's really cool and life-changing. But in general, that's what you're doing. And there's only a few type of wallets you got to understand. So we're going to go look at Google, which could be very misleading and overwhelming. Okay, look at that. Cold wallets, hardware wallets, software wallets, paper wallets, centralized exchange, hot storage, hosted wallet. I mean, it's crazy. All these different options. And these are all really important to know about, and sure, like if you're a professional or an expert like me, you would need to know what all this stuff is. But for the average person, really the only stuff you need to know is about cold wallets, a hot wallet, a centralized wallet, and then a decentralized wallet, which I'm not, well, I don't know if they have that here. Okay, but there's really only a few you need to understand. First, centralized exchanges can go down. Not your keys, not your crypto. That's the general rule. So if your crypto's on Coinbase, Kraken, Bitstamp, Binance, that means if they go down, your crypto goes with them. Okay? That is a centralized wallet and it's an account-based storage. So you could have 10 different tokens on 10 different chains if that account you're logged in as has those wallets basically. So the fact that you can buy Solana and Ethereum in the same place, it's one of the benefits of a centralized exchange. They manage all your wallets for you, and you have a general account. You don't even know those wallet addresses, right? They kind of do all of that for you. The second type is really more of, it's a form of self-custody, and you have a choice between cold storage and hot or warm storage. I call it warm storage because really MetaMask, let's just go there. It's warm or hot because it's online, meaning if you get compromised, it could be taken. And really the only way to be compromised is to give your keys to someone. And I have tons of videos on that. We could do another video on keys, but in general, we're just comparing storage methods. So you have the centralized exchanges, you have the decentralized wallets. So that's like MetaMask, not Jupiter, I apologize, Soulflare, on Solana. There's a bunch of them, and I don't really do a lot of stuff on decentralized wallets personally. I have my investors in exchanges, and that's mainly because I'm regulated by the SEC, and I need a place that has really good reporting. Those are my needs. So, institutions like myself have to essentially use exchanges. But there's a bunch of decentralized wallets. And if you can write those keys down on a piece of paper and never lose them, that's safer than an exchange, in my opinion. Now, I think it's all relatively safe, but it's about who you are as a person. Because if you think it's more likely that you misplace your keys, that information on paper, an exchange might be better because they have ways of recovering account information that you don't if you use a decentralized wallet. If you lose your keys, it's gone forever. There's tons of examples of that. And cold storage is a lot like the decentralized wallets, except you're still self custodying it, meaning it's your responsibility, but in the crypto is actually on a USB stick that has its own keys. Hey everybody, it's JT. Just in case you didn't know, I would love a sub. Almost 97% of you that have viewed our content have not subscribed, and it would mean the world to me if you just hit that sub button, give us a like, and let us know how we're doing. All right, back to the content. So you have to keep track of paper, and you have to keep track of the USB stick. They should be stored separately because if someone finds both, they can take all of your things. So it's about, do you trust yourself with that responsibility as well? I think exchanges are a great option because if an EMP went off and they have all these wallets hosted on all these blockchains in all the states, really the only risk you have is that company going bankrupt. Um, if anything terrible happened, those blockchains are going to be better at storing your wealth, unless you're not forgetful and super, diligent. It would be like opening a safety deposit box, putting your, wallet in there. That way you need an ID, cameras to get it, and then keeping two written copies of your keys. So people, even if they got your keys, they wouldn't be able to access your crypto. So it's the safest way to self custody, but it requires a lot of responsibility. So it's really about how responsible are you? How forgetful are you? How likely are you to figure all this stuff out and rely on it? Realistically, most people are fine investing in crypto through Coinbase or Kraken or Bitstamp. Those are really the only three I use. And I'm honestly considering getting off Bitstamp because they were purchased by Robinhood, and I'm not a big fan of Robinhood. But in general, they are a great solution for the majority of people. And I would say that's most likely the best option. Self-custodying is a great option if you are very diligent and responsible. And you don't need to be very technical, but these cold storage wallets are not the easiest thing to use. So if you are not technically proficient, exchanges might be best for you. Those are the really biggest three ways you should be concerned about storing crypto, and you need to make that decision for yourself. All right, that was it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until the next one, take care of one another. Peace and love. See you soon.